Okay, so welcome to the chapter number 5, that is Union and its Territory। तो आज हम लगभग 85 पेजेस को टारगेट करेंगे। ये एक चैप्टर नहीं है, यहाँ पर लगभग हमारा 500 चैप्टर को हम टारगेट करेंगे, क्योंकि काल मैंने पॉलिटी का पढ़ाई कुछ भी नहीं किया। एक्चुअली ये प्लान भी काल का ही था, बट समहाउ आई मिस्ड इट। ओके, सो लेट्स स्टार्ट। आर्टिकल्स 1 to 4 अंडर पार्ट 1 ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन। तो ये देखो पहला पार्ट है, पहला आर्टिकल है, बट हम आज मतलब ये इस सीक्वेंस में पढ़ रहे हैं, कोई इशू नहीं है। कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन डील विथ यूनियन एंड इट्स टेरिटरी। तो याद रखिएगा, ये पार्ट 1 में दिया गया है। पार्ट 1 आर्टिकल 1 से 4 तक का हमारा यूनियन एंड इट्स टेरिटरी के बारे में है। यूनियन ऑफ स्टेट्स। Article 1 describes India, that is Bharat, as a union of states rather than a federation of states. This provision deals with two things: one, name of the country, and two, type of polity. There was no unanimity in the Constituent Assembly with regard to the name of the country. Some members suggested the traditional name Bharat, और ये डिबेट रिसेंटली भी चल रहा था, तो ठीक है। While other advocated the modern name India, hence the Constituent Assembly had to adopt a mix of both India, that is Bharat. Secondly, the country is described as union, although its constitution is federal in structure. According to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the phrase union of states has been preferred to federation of states for two reasons. One, the Indian Federation is not the result of an agreement among the states like the American Federation. And two, the states have no right to secede from the federation. The federation is an union because it is indestructible. The country is an integral whole and divided into different states only for the convenience of administration. According to Article 1, the territory of India can be classified into three categories: territories of the states, union territories, and number 3, territories that may be acquired by the government of India at any time. The names of states and union territories and their territorial extent are mentioned in the first schedule of the Constitution. At present, there are 28 states and not 9 but 8 union territories. The provisions of the Constitution pertaining to the states are applicable to all the states in the same manner. However, the special provisions under Part 21 applicable to the states of Maharashtra, Gujarat, Nagaland, Assam, Manipur, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Sikkim, Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh, Goa, and Karnataka override the general provisions relating to the states as a class. Further, the 5th and 6th schedule contain separate provisions with respect to the administration of scheduled areas and tribal areas within the states. Notably, the territory of India is a wider expression than the Union of India, because the latter includes only states while the former includes not only the states but also union territories and territories that may be acquired by the government of India at any future time. The states are the members of the federal system and share a distribution of powers within the center. With the center, the union territories and the acquired territories, on the other hand, are directly administered by the central government. Being a sovereign state, India can acquire foreign territories according to the modes recognized by international law, that is cession, following treaty, purchase, gift, lease, or plebiscite; occupation, hitherto unoccupied by a recognized ruler; then conquest or subjugation. For example, India acquired several foreign territories such as Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Goa, Daman, Diu, Puducherry, and Sikkim since the commencement of the Constitution. The acquisition of these territories are discussed later in this chapter. Article 2 empowers the Parliament to admit into the Union of India or establish new states on such terms and conditions as it thinks fit. Thus, Article 2 grants two powers of the Parliament to the Parliament: the power to admit into the Union of India new states and the power to establish new states. The first refers to the admission of states which are already in existence, while the second refers to the establishment of states which were not in existence before. Notably, Article 2 relates to the admission or establishment of new states that are not part of the Union of India. Article 3, on the other hand, relates to the formation of or changes in the existing states of the Union of India. In other words, Article 3 deals with the internal readjustment inter se of the territories of the constituent states of the Union of India. Parliament's power to reorganize the states. Article 3 authorizes the Parliament to form a new state by separation of territory from any state, or by uniting two or more states or parts of states, or by uniting any territory to a part of any state. B. Increase the area of any state, diminish the area of any state, alter the boundaries of any state, alter the name of any state. तो ये सब पार्लियामेंट कर सकता है. However, Article 3 lays down two conditions in this regard. One, a bill contemplating the above changes can be introduced in the parliament only with the prior recommendation of the president. And two, before recommending the bill, the president has to refer the same to the state legislature concerned for expressing its views within a specified period. Further, the power of Parliament to form new states includes the power to form a new state or union territory by uniting a part of any state or union territory to any other state or union territory. The President or Parliament is not bound by the views of the state legislature and may either accept or reject them. Even if the views are received in time, further, it is not necessary to make a fresh reference to the state legislature every time an amendment to the bill is moved and accepted in Parliament. In case of union territory, no reference need be made to the concerned legislature to ascertain its views, and the Parliament can itself take any action as it deems fit. It is thus clear that the Constitution authorizes the Parliament to form new states or alter the areas, boundaries, or names of the existing states without their consent. In other words, the Parliament can redraw the political map of India according to its will. Hence, the territorial integrity or continued existence of any state is not guaranteed by the Constitution. Therefore, India is rightly described as an indestructible union of destructible states. The union government can destroy the states, whereas the state governments cannot destroy the union. In USA, on the other hand, the territorial integrity or continued existence of a state is guaranteed by the Constitution. The American federal government cannot form new states or alter the borders of existing states without the consent of the states concerned. That is why the US is described as an indestructible union of indestructible states. Moreover, the Constitution Article 4 itself declares that laws made for admission or establishment of new states under Article 2 and formation of new states and alteration of areas, boundaries, or names of existing states under Article 3 are not to be considered as amendments of the Constitution under Article 368. This means that such laws can be passed by a simple majority and by the ordinary legislative process. Does the power of Parliament to diminish the areas of a state under Article 3 include also the power to secede Indian territory to a foreign country? This question came up for examination before the Supreme Court in a reference made by the President in 1960. The decision of the central government to cede part of a territory known as Berubari Union, West Bengal, to Pakistan led to political agitation and controversy and thereby necessitated the presidential reference. 1960 तब बांग्लादेश नहीं बनी थी तो इसलिए पाकिस्तान बोला जा रहा है. द सुप्रीम कोर्ट हेल्ड दैट द पावर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट टू डिमिनिश द एरिया ऑफ स्टेट अंडर आर्टिकल 3 does not cover cession of Indian territory to a foreign country. Hence, Indian territory can be ceded to a foreign state only by amending the constitution under Article 368. Consequently, the 9th constitutional amendment was enacted to transfer the said territory to Pakistan. ऑन द अदर हैंड, तो इसको देखो, इसके लिए 9th कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट किया गया था उसको ट्रांसफ़र करने के लिए. ऑन द अदर हैंड, द सुप्रीम कोर्ट इन 1969 रूल दैट सेटलमेंट ऑफ ए बाउंड्री डिस्प्यूट बिटवीन इंडिया एंड अदर कंट्री डज नॉट रिक्वायर अ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट. इट कैन बी डन बाय एग्जीक्यूटिव एक्शन एज इट डज नॉट इन्वॉल्व सेशन ऑफ एन सेशन ऑफ सेशन क्या बोले सेशन ऑफ इंडियन टेरिटरी टू अ फॉरेन कंट्री. एक्सचेंज ऑफ टेरिटरीज विथ बांग्लादेश. The 100th Constitutional Amendment Act 2015 was enacted to give effect to the acquiring of certain territories by India and transfer of certain other territories to Bangladesh in pursuance of the agreement and its protocol entered into between the between the governments of India and Bangladesh. Under this deal, India transferred 111 enclaves to Bangladesh, while Bangladesh transferred 51 enclaves to India. In addition, the deal was involved the transfer of adverse possessions and the demarcation of a 6.1 kilometer demarcated border stretch. For these three purposes, the amendment modified the provisions relating to the territories of four states: Assam, West Bengal, Meghalaya and Tripura. ये border में पर था. In the first schedule of the constitution, the background of this amendment is as follows: India and Bangladesh have a common land boundary of approximately 4096.7 kilometers. The India East Pakistan land boundary was determined as per the Radcliffe Award of 1947. Disputes arose out of some provisions in the Radcliffe Award which are sought to be resolved through the Beggy Award of 1950. Another effort was made to settle these disputes by the Nehru-Noon Agreement of 1958. However, the issue relating to division of Berwari Union was challenged before the Supreme Court to comply with the opinion rendered by the Supreme Court. The Constitution 9th Amendment Act 1960 was passed by the Parliament. Due to the continuous litigation and other political developments at that time, the Constitution 9th Amendment Act 1960 could not be notified in respect of territories in former East Pakistan, presently Bangladesh. On May 16, 1974, the agreement between India and Bangladesh concerning the demarcation of the land boundary and related matters was signed between both the countries to find a solution to the complex nature of the border demarcation involved. This agreement was not ratified as it involved inter alia transfer of territory, which requires a constitutional amendment. In this connection, it was also required to identify the precise area on the ground which would be transferred. Subsequently, the issues relating to demarcation of undemarcated boundary, the territories in adverse possessions and exchanges of enclaves are identified and resolved by signing a protocol on September 6, 2011, which forms an integral part of land boundary agreement between India and Bangladesh 1974. The protocol was prepared with, तो एक्चुअली ये देखो 19 कब स्टार्ट हुआ था ये 19 ये जो है 1947 में, तो वहाँ से एक्चुअली स्टार्ट हुआ था तो आके रिजल्व हुआ था 2011 में. ठीक है. द प्रोटोकॉल वाज प्रिपेयर्ड विथ सपोर्ट एंड कॉन्करेंस ऑफ द कंसर्न स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स ऑफ आसाम, मेघालय, त्रिपुरा एंड वेस्ट बंगाल. Then evolution of states and union territories. Integration of princely states. At the time of independence, India comprised two categories of political units, namely the British provinces under the direct rule of British government and the princely states under the rule of native princes but subject to the paramountcy of the British crown. The Indian Independence Act 1947 created two independent and separate dominions of India and Pakistan and gave three options to the princely states, which joining India, joining Pakistan and remaining independent. Of the 552 princely states situated within the geographical boundaries of India, 549 joined India and the remaining three, Hyderabad, Junagadh, Kashmir, refused to join India. However, in course of time, they were also integrated with India, Hyderabad by means of police action, Junagadh by means of referendum and Kashmir by the instrument of accession. In 1950, the constitution contained a fourfold classification of the states and territories of the Indian Union: Part A, Part B, Part C states and Part D territories. Okay, then in all they numbered 29. Part A states comprised 9 erstwhile governors provinces of British India. Part B states consisted of 9 erstwhile princely states with legislatures. Part C states consisted of erstwhile chief commissioners provinces of British India and some of the erstwhile princely states. These Part C states, in all 10 in number, were centrally administered. The Andaman and Nicobar Islands were kept as the solitary Part D territory. Dhar Commission and JVP Committee. The integration of princely states with the rest of India has purely an ad hoc arrangement. There has been a demand from different regions, particularly South India, for reorganization of states on linguistic basis. Accordingly, in June 1948, the Government of India appointed the Linguistic Provinces Commission under the chairmanship of S.K. Dhar to examine the feasibility of this. The commission submitted its report in December 1948 and recommended the reorganization of states on the basis of administrative convenience rather than linguistic factor. ठीक है। तो पहले ये डिमांड साउथ से रेज हुआ था और फिर कमेटी बैठाया गया, तो कमेटी ने रिकमेंड किया नहीं, लिंग्विस्टिक बेसिस में नहीं हो सकता, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव कन्वीनियंस के बेसिस पे हम करेंगे। दिस क्रिएटेड मच रिसेंटमेंट एंड लेड टू द अपॉइंटमेंट ऑफ अनदर लिंग्विस्टिक प्रोविंसेस कमिटी बाय द कांग्रेस इन December 1948 itself to examine the whole question afresh. It consisted of Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel, Pattabi Sitaramaiah and hence was popularly known as JVP committee. तो इसलिए JVP क्यों, जवाहरलाल वल्लभ भाई एंड पट्टाभी सीतारामैया. It submitted its report in April 1949 and formally rejected language as the basis for reorganization of states. ये देखो स्टेट्स का लिस्ट दिया गया है, पार्ट्स है और यहाँ पर क्या ओरिजिनल हेडिंग जो भी इसको दिया गया, ठीक है. However, in October 1953, the government of India was forced to create the first linguistic state known as Andhra state. तो ये आंध्रा स्टेट पहला था लिंग्विस्टिक बेसिस के ऊपर, बाय सेपरेटिंग द तेलुगु स्पीकिंग एरियाज फ्रॉम द मद्रास स्टेट. दिस फॉलोड अ प्रोलॉन्ग्ड पॉपुलर एजिटेशन एंड द डेथ ऑफ Patti Sriramalu, a Congress person of standing, after a 56-day hunger strike for the cause. ठीक है, तो इसके कारण इसको करना पड़ा. फजल अली कमीशन. द क्रिएशन ऑफ आंध्रा स्टेट intensified the demand from other regions. अब एक हो गया तो दूसरे तो चाहेंगे. Creation of states on linguistic basis. This forced the government of India to appoint in December 1953 a 3-member states reorganization commission under the chairmanship of Fazal Ali to examine the whole question. Its other 2 members were K.M. Panikkar and K.H.N. Kunjru. It submitted its report in September 1955 and brought the accepted language as the basis of reorganization of states. But it rejected the theory of one language, one state. Its view was that the unity of India should be regarded as the primary consideration in any redrawing of the country's political units. It identified 4 major factors that can be taken into account in any scheme of reorganization of states: preservation and strengthening of the unity and security of the country, linguistic and cultural homogeneity, financial, economic and administrative considerations, planning and promotion of the welfare of the people in each state as well as of the nation as a whole. ठीक है, अब देखो स्टेट्स एंड यूनियन टेरिटरी बने थे, टेरिटरी ऑफ इंडिया इन 1956, इसका भी कुछ नहीं है. द कमीशन सजेस्टेड द एबोलिशन ऑफ द 4-fold classification of states and territories under the original constitution and creation of 16 states and 3 centrally administered territories. The government of India accepted these recommendations with certain minor modifications by the States Reorganization Act 1956 and the 7th Constitutional Amendment Act 1956. The distinction between Part A and Part B states was done away with and Part C states were abolished. Some of them were merged with adjacent states and some other were designated as union territories. As a result, 14 states and 6 union territories were created on November 1, 1956. The States Reorganization Act 1956 established the new state of Kerala by merging the Travancore Cochin state with the Malabar district of Madras state and Kasaragod of South Kannada, Dakhin Kannada. It merged the Telugu-speaking areas of Hyderabad state with the Andhra state to create the Andhra Pradesh state. तो पहले आंध्र प्रदेश का नाम आंध्रा नहीं, सिर्फ आंध्रा था, ठीक है. उसके बाद आंध्र प्रदेश हो गया. Further, it merged the Madhya Bharat state, Vindhya Pradesh state and Bhopal state into the Madhya Pradesh state. Similarly, it merged the Saurashtra state and Kutch state, कितना था भाई, into that of the Bombay state, the Coorg state into the Mysore, that of Mysore state, कितना state था, the Patiala and East Punjab states union Pepsu into that of Punjab state and the Ajmer state into that of Rajasthan state. Moreover, it created the new union territory of Lakshadweep, Minicoy and Daman Divi Island from the territory detached from the Madras state. New states and union territories created after 1956. So even after the large-scale reorganization of the states in 1956, the political map of India underwent continuous changes due to the pressure of popular agitations and political conditions. The demand for the creation of some more states on the basis of language and or cultural homogeneity resulted in the bifurcation of existing states. Maharashtra and Gujarat. In 1960, the bilingual state of Bombay was divided into 2 separate states, Maharashtra for Marathi-speaking people and Gujarat for Gujarati-speaking people. Gujarat was established as the 15th state of the Indian Union. Dadra and Nagar Haveli. The Portuguese ruled this territory until its liberation in 1954. Subsequently, the administration was carried on till 1961 by an administrator chosen by the people themselves. It was converted into a union territory of India by the 10th Constitutional Amendment Act 1961. Goa, Daman and Diu. India acquired these three territories from the Portuguese by means of a police action in 1961. They are constituted as a union territory by the 12th Constitutional Amendment Act 1962. Later on in 1987, Goa was conferred a statehood. Consequently, Daman and Diu was made a separate union territory. Puducherry. The territory of Puducherry comprises the former French establishments in India known as Puducherry, Karikal, Mahe and Annam. The French handed over this territory to India in 1954. Subsequently, it was administered as an acquired territory till 1962 when it was made a union territory by the 14th Constitutional Amendment Act. Nagaland. In 1963, the state of Nagaland was formed by taking the Naga Hills and Tuensang area out of the state of Assam. This was done to satisfy the movement of the hostile Nagas. However, before giving Nagaland the status of the 16th state of the Indian Union, it was placed under the control of Governor of Assam in 1961. Haryana, Chandigarh and Himachal Pradesh. In 1966, the state of Punjab was bifurcated to Haryana, the 17th state of Indian Union, and the Union Territory of Chandigarh. This followed the demand for a separate Sikh homeland, Punjabi Subha, raised by the Akali Dal under the leadership of Master Tara Singh. On the recommendation of the Shah Commission, the Punjabi-speaking areas were constituted into the unilingual state of Punjab. The Hindi-speaking areas were constituted into the state of Haryana. तो पंजाब में क्या बोला जाता है? पंजाबी और हरियाणा में हिंदी. एंड द हिल एरियाज आर मर्ज्ड विद द एडजॉइनिंग यूनियन टेरिटरी ऑफ हिमाचल प्रदेश. और बाकी जो हिल एरियाज थे उनको मिलाकर कर दिया गया हिमाचल प्रदेश. इन 1971 द यूनियन टेरिटरी ऑफ हिमाचल प्रदेश वाज एलिवेटेड टू द स्टेटस ऑफ ए स्टेट्स 18th स्टेट ऑफ द इंडियन यूनियन. ठीक है, तो हिमाचल प्रदेश पहले यूटी था, उसके बाद स्टेट कर दिया गया. देखो मणिपुर, त्रिपुरा एंड मेघालय. In 1972, the political map of northeast India underwent a major change. Thus, the two union territories of Manipur and Tripura and the sub-state of Meghalaya got statehood, and the two union territories of Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh, originally known as Northeast Frontier Agency (NIFA), came into being. With this, the number of states of the Indian Union increased to 21. Manipur 19th, Tripura 20th, and Meghalaya 21st. Initially, this 22nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1969 created Meghalaya as an autonomous state or sub-state within the state of Assam, with its own legislature and Council of Ministers. However, this did not satisfy the aspirations of the people of Meghalaya. The union territories of Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh were also formed out of the territories of Assam. Sikkim. Till 1947, Sikkim was an Indian princely state ruled by Chogyal. In 1947, after the lapse of British paramountcy, Sikkim became a protectorate of India, whereby the Indian government assumed responsibility for the defense, external affairs and communications of Sikkim. In 1974, Sikkim expressed its desire for greater association with India. Accordingly, the 35th Constitutional Amendment Act 1974 was enacted by the Parliament. This amendment introduced a new class of statehood under the Constitution by conferring on Sikkim the status of an associate state of the Indian Union. For this purpose, a new Article 2A and a new schedule, 10th schedule containing the terms and conditions of association, were inserted in the Constitution. This experiment, however, did not last long, as it could not fully satisfy the aspirations of the people of Sikkim. In a referendum held in 1975, they voted for the abolition of the institution of Chogyal, and Sikkim becoming an integral part of India. Consequently, the 36th Constitutional Amendment Act 1975 was enacted to make Sikkim a full-fledged state of the Indian Union, the 22nd state. This amendment amended the first and the fourth schedules to the Constitution and added a new Article 371F to provide for certain special provisions with respect to the administration of Sikkim. It also repealed Article 2A and the 10th schedule that were added by the 35th Amendment Act of 1974. Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh and Goa. In 1987, three new states of Mizoram, 14, Arunachal Pradesh 15, Goa 16 came into being as the 23rd, 24th, 25th states of the Indian Union respectively. The Union Territory of Mizoram was conferred the status of full state as a sequel to the signing of a memorandum of settlement, Mizoram Peace Accord and 1986 between the central government and the Mizo National Front, ending the 2-decade-old insurgency. Arunachal Pradesh had also been a union territory from 1972. The state of Goa was created by separating the territory of Goa from the union territory of Goa, Daman and Diu. Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand and Jharkhand. In 2003, more new states of Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand and Jharkhand were created out of the territories of the Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Bihar respectively. These became the 26th, 27th and 28th states of the Indian Union respectively. Telangana in 2014, the new state of Telangana came into existence as the 29th state of the Indian Union. It was carved out of the territories of Andhra Pradesh. The Andhra State Act 1953 formed the first linguistic state of India. हम पहले देखे थे इसको, known as the state of Andhra, by taking out the Telugu speaking areas from the state of Madras, now Tamil Nadu. Kurnool was the capital of Andhra state and the state high court was established at Guntur. The States Reorganization Act 1956 merged the Telugu speaking areas of Hyderabad state with the Andhra state to create the enlarged Andhra Pradesh state. The capital of the state was shifted to Hyderabad. Again, the Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act in 2014 bifurcated the Andhra Pradesh into two separate states, namely the Andhra Pradesh Residuary and the Telangana. Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Till 2019, the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir had its own constitution and thus enjoyed a special status by virtue of Article 370 of the Constitution of India. In 2019, this special status was abolished by a presidential order known as the Constitution Application to Jammu and Kashmir Order 2019. This order superseded the earlier order known as the Constitution Application to Jammu and Kashmir Order 1954. The 2019 order extended all the provisions of the Constitution of India to Jammu and Kashmir also. However, the inoperative Article 370 continued to remain in the text of the Constitution of India. Further, the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act 2019 bifurcated the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir into two separate union territories, namely the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir and the Union Territory of Ladakh. The Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir comprises all the districts of the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir except the Kargil and the Leh districts, which have gone to the Union Territory of Ladakh. ठीक है. Then thus the number of states and union territories increased from 14 and 6 in 1956 to 28 and 9 in 2019 respectively. Changes of names. The names of some states and union territories have also been changed. The United Provinces was the first state to have a new name. It was renamed Uttar Pradesh in 1950. In 1969, Madras was renamed Tamil Nadu. Similarly, in 1973, Mysore was renamed Karnataka. In the same year, Lakshadweep, Minicoy and Amindip Island were renamed. तो ये सारे रिनेम किया गया है, चलो इसको पढ़ने की जरूरत है नहीं. तो यहाँ पर देखो लिस्ट दिया गया टेरिटरी ऑफ इंडिया और यूनियन टेरिटरीज की लिस्ट है यहाँ पर. देन यहाँ पर क्या है कि लॉज मेड बाय पार्लियामेंट अंडर आर्टिकल 3 ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. तो ये सारे चेंजेस जब हुआ था तो तब एक्ट जो भी है और प्रोविज़न क्या बना था वो उसका लिस्ट दिया गया है. तो ये चैप्टर बेसिकली यहाँ पर ख़त्म होता है. ठीक है, ये लिस्ट है और यहाँ पर आर्टिकल्स के बारे में मेंशन है कि आर्टिकल 1 में क्या दिया गया है. उसका सब्जेक्ट में 2, देन 2A, देन 3 एंड 4. तो ये आर्टिकल 1 to 4 पार्ट ए में है जो कि यूनियन एंड इट्स टेरिटरी के बारे में डील करते ऑफ इंडिया. ठीक है, तो ये हमारा पहला चैप्टर कंप्लीट हुआ था और भी बाकी 4 चैप्टर हम कंप्लीट करने की कोशिश करेंगे. तो नेक्स्ट चैप्टर है हमारा स्पेशल प्रोविजंस फॉर सम स्टेट्स, जो कि चैप्टर नंबर 37 है. चलिए, तो ये वाला चैप्टर है 37, स्पेशल प्रोविजंस फॉर सम स्टेट्स. आर्टिकल 371 एंड 371J इन पार्ट 21 of the Constitution contains special provisions for 12 states: Maharashtra, Gujarat, Nagaland, Assam, Manipur, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Sikkim, Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh, Goa and Karnataka. The intention behind them is to meet the aspirations of the people of backward regions of the states, or to protect the cultural and economic interest of the tribal people of the states, or to deal with the disturbed law and order condition in some parts of the states, or to protect the interest of the local people of the states. तो ये सारे पर्पस था इसको स्पेशल प्रोविजन देने का. Originally the constitution did not make any special provisions for these states. They have been incorporated by the various subsequent amendments made in the context of reorganization of the states or conferment of statehood of the union territories. Provisions for Maharashtra and Gujarat. Under Article 371, the President is authorized to provide that the Governor of Maharashtra and that of Gujarat would have special responsibility for the establishment of separate development boards for Vidarbha, Marathwada, and the rest of Maharashtra, Saurashtra, Kutch, and the rest of Gujarat, making a provision that a report on the working of these boards should be placed every year before the State Legislative Assembly. The equitable allocation of funds for development expenditure over the above mentioned areas and an equitable arrangement providing adequate facilities for technical education and vocational training and adequate employment opportunities in the state services in respect of the above mentioned areas. Provisions for Nagaland. Article 371A makes the following special provisions for Nagaland. The Acts of Parliament relating to the following matters should not apply to Nagaland unless the State Legislative Assembly so decides. Religious or social practices of the Nagas, Naga customary law and procedure, administration of civil and criminal justice involving decision according to Naga customary law, and ownership and transfer of land and its resources. The Governor of Nagaland shall have special responsibility for law and order in the state so long as internal disturbances caused by the hostile Nagas continue in the discharge of this responsibility. The Governor, after consulting the Council of Ministers, exercises his individual judgment and his decision is final. This special responsibility of the Governor shall cease when the President so directs. The Governor has to ensure that the money provided by the central government for any specific purpose is included in the demand for a grant relating to that purpose and not in any other demand moved in the State Legislative Assembly. A regional council consisting of 35 members should be established for the Tuensang district of the state. The Governor should make rules for the composition of the council, manner of choosing its members, their qualifications, terms, salaries, and allowances, the procedure and conduct of business of the council, the appointment of officers and staff of the council and their service conditions, and any other matter relating to the constitution and proper functioning of the council. For a period of 10 years from the formation of Nagaland or for such further period as the Governor may specify on the recommendation of the regional council, the following provision would be operative for the Tuensang district. The administration of the Tuensang district shall be carried on by government. The Governor shall in his discretion arrange for equitable distribution of money provided by the center between Tuensang district and the rest of Nagaland. Any act of Nagaland legislature shall not apply to Tuensang district unless the Governor so directs on the recommendation of the regional council. The Governor can make regulations for the peace, progress, good government of the Tuensang district. Any such regulation may repeal or amend an act of Parliament or any other law applicable to the district. There shall be a minister for Tuensang affairs in the State Council of Ministers. He is to be appointed from amongst members representing Tuensang district in the Naga Land Legislative Assembly. The final decision on all matters relating to Tuensang district should be made by the Governor in his discretion. Members in the Nagaland Legislative Assembly from Tuensang district are not elected directly by the people but by regional council. Provisions for Assam and Manipur. Assam under Article 371B, the President is empowered to provide for the creation of a committee of the Assam Legislative Assembly consisting of the members selected from the tribal areas of the state and such other members as he may specify. Manipur Article 371C makes the following special provisions for Manipur. The President is authorized to provide for the creation of a committee of the Manipur Legislative Assembly consisting of the members selected from the hill areas of the state. The President can also, यहाँ पर देखो मणिपुर में प्रेसिडेंट का रोल है. President can also direct the Governor shall have special responsibility to secure the proper functioning of the committee. The Governor should submit an annual report to the President regarding the administration of the hill areas. The central government can give directions to the state government as to the administration of the hill areas. Then provisions for Andhra Pradesh or Telangana. Article 371D and 371E contain the special provisions for Andhra Pradesh. In 2014, Article 371D has been extended to the state of Telangana by the Andhra Pradesh Reorganization Act of 2014. Under Article 371D, the following are mentioned. The President is empowered to provide for equitable opportunities and facilities for the people belonging to different parts of the states in the matter of public employment and education, and different provisions can be made for various parts of the state. For the above purpose, the President may require the state government to organize civil posts in local cadres for different parts of the state and provide for direct recruitment to posts in any local cadre. He may specify parts of the states which shall be regarded as the local area for admission to any educational institution. He may also specify the extent and manner of preference or reservation given in the matter of direct recruitment to posts in any such cadre or admission to any such educational institution. The President may provide for the establishment of an administrative tribunal in the state to deal with certain disputes and grievances relating to appointment, allotment or promotion to civil posts in the state. The tribunal is to function outside the purview of the state high court. No court other than the Supreme Court is to exercise any jurisdiction in respect of any matter subject to the jurisdiction of the tribunal. The President may abolish the tribunal when he is satisfied that its continued existence is not necessary. Article 371E empowers the Parliament to provide for the establishment of a central university in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Provisions for Sikkim. The 36th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1975 made Sikkim a full-fledged state of the Indian Union. It included a new Article 371F containing special provisions with respect to Sikkim. These are as follows. The Sikkim Legislative Assembly is to consist of not less than 30 members. One seat is allotted to Sikkim in the Lok Sabha, and Sikkim forms one parliamentary constituency for the purpose of protecting the rights and interests of the different sections of the Sikkim population. The Parliament is empowered to provide for the number of seats in the Sikkim Legislative Assembly which may be filled by candidates belonging to such sections, and delimitation of the assembly constituencies from which candidate belonging to such sections alone may stand for election to assembly. The governor shall have special responsibility for peace and for an equitable arrangement for ensuring the social and economic advancement of the different sections of the Sikkim population. In the discharge of this responsibility, the governor shall act in his discretion, subject to the directions issued by the President. The President can extend with restrictions or modifications to Sikkim any law which is in force in a state of the Indian Union. Provisions for Mizoram. Article 371G specifies the following special provisions for Mizoram. The acts of Parliament relating to the following matters should not be applied to Mizoram unless the state legislative assembly so decides. Religious or social practices of the Mijos, वही नागालैंड की तरह Mizo customary law and procedure, administration of civil and criminal justice involving decision according to Mizo customary law, and ownership and transport of land. The Mizoram legislative assembly is to consist of not less than 40 members. Provisions for Arunachal Pradesh and Goa. Arunachal Pradesh, under Article 371H, the following special provisions are made for Arunachal Pradesh. The governor of Arunachal Pradesh shall have special responsibility for law and order in the state. In the discharge of this responsibility, the governor, after consulting the council of ministers, exercises his individual judgment and his decisions in the final. तो गवर्नर की पावर बहुत ज़्यादा है. इन सब जहाँ पर स्पेशल प्रोविजंस है उन सब स्टेट में 12 स्टेट्स में दिया गया है. द स्पेशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ द गवर्नर शैल सीज व्हेन द प्रेसिडेंट सो डायरेक्ट्स. द अरुणाचल प्रदेश लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली इज टू कंसिस्ट ऑफ नॉट लेस देन 30 मेंबर्स. तो यहाँ पर था देखो मिजोरम में 40 मेंबर्स और अरुणाचल प्रदेश में 30 मेंबर होना चाहिए मिनिमम स्टेट लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली में. अब Goa. Article 371I provides that Goa Legislative Assembly is to consist of not less than 30 members. तो ये भी एक स्पेशल प्रोविजन है कि मिनिमम मेंबर 30 होंगे लेजिस्लेटिव में. And provisions for Karnataka. Under Article 371J, the President is empowered to provide that the Governor of Karnataka would have special responsibility for the establishment of a separate development board for Hyderabad Karnataka region, making a provision that a report on the working of the board would be placed every year before the State Legislative Assembly. The equitable allocation of funds for developmental expenditure over the region, the reservation of seats in educational and vocational training institutions in the region for students who belong to the region, the reservation in state government posts in the region for persons who belong to the region. तो ये देखो यहाँ पर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी किसका है, प्रेसिडेंट. ठीक है. Article 371J, which provide for special provision for the Hyderabad Karnataka region of the state Karnataka, was inserted in the constitution by the 98th Constitutional Amendment Act of 2012. The special provisions aim to establish an institutional mechanism for equitable allocation of funds to meet the development needs of the region, as well as to enhance the human resources and promote employment from the region by providing for local cadres in service and reservation in educational and vocational training institutions. In 2010, the Legislative Assembly as well as the Legislative Council of Karnataka passed separate resolutions seeking special provisions for the Hyderabad Karnataka region of the state of Karnataka. The government of Karnataka also endorsed the need for special provision for the region. The resolution sought to accelerate development of the most backward region of the state and promote inclusive growth with a view to reducing inter-district and inter-regional disparities in the state. 2010 में दिया गया था. The articles related to special provisions for some states, यहाँ पर आर्टिकल और उसका सब्जेक्ट मैटर दिया गया है। ठीक है, आर्टिकल 371 से लेकर 371 जे तक की ये स्पेशल प्रोविज़न की बात कर रहा है। ठीक, तो देखो पहला जो पार्ट मतलब पहला जो स्पेशल प्रोविज़न दिया गया था महाराष्ट्र एंड गुजरात में, बाकी फिर बाद में ऐड होते गए आई थिंक, है ना। तो इसलिए आर्टिकल 371 ए बना और ए से जे बना ऐसे करके। 371 याद रखिएगा, 370 जम्मू एंड कश्मीर के रिलेटेड था और 371 ये आपका स्पेशल प्रोविज़न में रिलेटेड है। तो यहाँ पर ये चैप्टर हमारा खत्म होता है। नेक्स्ट चैप्टर है हमारा शेड्यूल्ड एंड ट्राइबल एरियाज, जो कि चैप्टर नंबर 41 है। तो चलिए चलते हैं। तो शेड्यूल्ड एंड ट्राइबल एरियाज, आर्टिकल 244 in part 10 of the constitution envisages a special system of administration for certain areas designated as scheduled areas and tribal areas. The fifth schedule of the constitution deals with the administration and control of scheduled areas and scheduled tribes in any state except for 4 states of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. तो इन 4 स्टेट में ये एप्लीकेबल नहीं है। द सिक्स्थ शेड्यूल ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑन द अदर हैंड डील्स विद द एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ऑफ द ट्राइबल एरियाज इन द 4 नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न स्टेट्स ऑफ असम, मेघालय, त्रिपुरा एंड मिजोरम। ओके, तो इसके लिए एप्लीकेबल नहीं है, नहीं स्पेशल शेड्यूल में दिया गया है। देखो सिक्स्थ शेड्यूल ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में ये दिया गया है असम, मेघालय, त्रिपुरा एंड मिजोरम के बारे में। ओके, ठीक है, उनमें ज़्यादातर ट्राइबल पॉपुलेशन ही है उन सारे स्टेट में, इसलिए उसका स्पेशल प्रोविज़न है। और बाकी जो द फिफ्थ शेड्यूल है इसमें शेड्यूल एरिया शेड्यूल इन एनी स्टेट एक्सेप्ट बाकी स्टेट में है तो वो शेड्यूल एरिया शेड्यूल ट्राइब्स के बारे में है फिफ्थ शेड्यूल में। और असम, मेघालय, मणिपुर, मिजोरम एंड त्रिपुरा ये सब सिक्स्थ शेड्यूल में है। ओके, administration of scheduled areas. The scheduled areas are treated differently from the other areas in the country because they are inhabited by aboriginals who are socially and economically rather backward, and special efforts need to be made to improve their condition. Therefore, the whole of the normal administrative machinery operating in a state is not extended to the scheduled areas, and the central government has somewhat greater responsibility for these areas. The various features of administration contained in the fifth schedule are as follows. Declaration of scheduled areas. The president is empowered to declare an area to be a scheduled area. He can also, तो जितने भी scheduled area होगा किसके अंडर रहेगा, अगर स्टेट के अंदर भी है तो भी वो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट उसमें उसका मशीनरी एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव मशीनरी चलाएगा। एक तरह की यूटी की तरह शायद हो सकता है, देखते पढ़ते हैं। So president can also increase or decrease its area, alter its boundary lines, resign such designation to make fresh orders for such designation on an area in consultation with the governor of the state concerned. Executive power of state and center. The executive power of state extends to the scheduled areas therein, but the governor has a special responsibility regarding such areas. अच्छा, स्टेट इसको क्या करेगा, वो एग्जीक्यूट करेगा सारे डिसीजन को, बट गवर्नर हैज ए स्पेशल पावर फॉर द एरिया. ही हैज टू सबमिट अ रिपोर्ट टू द प्रेसिडेंट रिगार्डिंग द एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ऑफ सच एरियाज annually or whenever so required by the president. The executive power of the center extends to giving directions to the states regarding the administration of such areas. Tribes Advisory Council. Each state having scheduled areas has to establish a Tribes Advisory Council to advise on welfare and advancement of the scheduled tribes. It is to consist of 20 members, 3/4 of whom are to be the representatives of the scheduled tribes in the state legislative assembly. A similar council can also be established in a state having scheduled tribes but not scheduled areas therein if the president so directs. Okay, तो शेड्यूल्ड एरियाज एक अलग है और शेड्यूल्ड ट्राइब्स अलग है. ए सिमिलर काउंसिल कैन ऑल्सो बी एस्टेब्लिश्ड इन अ स्टेट हैविंग शेड्यूल्ड ट्राइब्स. अगर शेड्यूल्ड ट्राइब्स भी है तब भी एक ट्राइब एडवाइजरी काउंसिल जो होगा वो एस्टेब्लिश किया जाएगा, बट शेड्यूल्ड एरियाज में ही किसको फोकस में रखा जा रहा है, ट्राइब्स या फिर एबोरिजिनल्स को ही फोकस में रखा जा रहा है. लॉ एप्लीकेबल टू शेड्यूल्ड एरियाज. द गवर्नर इज एम्पावर्ड टू डायरेक्ट दैट एनी पर्टिकुलर एक्ट ऑफ पार्लियामेंट और द स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर डज नॉट अप्लाई टू शेड्यूल्ड एरिया और अप्लाई विथ स्पेसिफाइड मॉडिफिकेशंस एंड एक्सेप्शंस. ही कैन ऑल्सो मेक रेगुलेशंस फॉर द peace and good government of a scheduled area after consulting the Tribes Advisory Council. Such regulations may prohibit or restrict the transfer of land by or among members of the scheduled tribes, regulate the allotment of land to members of the scheduled tribes, and regulate the business of money lending in relation to the scheduled tribes. Also, regulation may repeal or amend any act of parliament or the state legislature which is applicable to a scheduled area, but all such regulations require the assent of the president. The constitution requires the president to appoint a commission to report on the administration of the scheduled areas and the welfare of the scheduled tribes in the states. He can appoint such a commission at any time, but compulsorily after 10 years of the commencement of the constitution. Hence, a commission was appointed in 1960. It was headed by the UN Dhebar and submitted its report in 1961. After 4 decades, the second commission was appointed in 2002 under the chairmanship of Dilip Singh Bhuria. It submitted its report in 2004. Administration of tribal areas. The constitution under 6th schedule contains special provisions for the administration of tribal areas in the 4 northeastern states of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. The rationality behind the special arrangements in respect of only these 4 states lies in the following. The tribes in Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram have not assimilated much the life and wage of the other people in these states. These areas have hitherto been anthropological specimens. The tribal people in other parts of India have more or less adopted the culture of the majority of the people in whose midst they live. The tribes in Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram on the other hand still have the roots in their own culture, इसलिए इसको अलग किया गया है और 6th शेड्यूल में इसका अलग प्रोविजन बनाया है. Customs and civilization. These areas are therefore treated differently by the constitution and sizable amount of autonomy has been given to these people for self-government. The various features of administration contained in the 6th schedule are as follows. The tribal areas in the 4 states of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram have been constituted as autonomous districts, but they do not fall outside the executive authority of the state concerned. The governor is empowered to organize and reorganize the autonomous districts. Thus, he can increase or decrease their areas or change their names or define their boundaries and so on. If there are different tribes in an autonomous district, the governor can divide the district into several autonomous regions. Each autonomous district has a district council consisting of 30 members, of whom 4 are nominated by the governor and the remaining 26 are elected on the basis of adult franchise. The elected members hold office for a term of 5 years unless the council is dissolved earlier, and nominated members hold office during the pleasure of the governor. Each autonomous region has also a separate regional council. The district and regional councils administer the areas under their jurisdiction. They can make laws on certain specified matters like land, forest, canal water, shifting, cultivation, village administration, inheritance of property, marriage and divorce, social customs and so on. But all such laws require the assent of the governor. The district and regional councils within their territorial jurisdictions can constitute village councils or courts for trial of suits and cases between the tribes. They hear appeals from them. The jurisdiction of High Court over these suits and cases is specified by the governor. The district council can establish, construct or manage primary schools, dispensaries, markets, ferries, fisheries, roads and so on in the district. It can also make regulations for the control of money lending and trading by non-tribals, but such regulations require the assent of the governor. The district and regional councils are empowered to assess and collect land revenue and to impose certain specified taxes. The acts of parliament or the state legislature do not apply to autonomous districts and autonomous regions or apply with specified modifications and exceptions. The governor can appoint a commission to examine and report on any matter relating to the administration of the autonomous districts or regions. He may dissolve a district or regional council on the recommendation of the कमीशन. ये ट्राइबल एरियाज आसाम में क्या क्या देखो 1 2 3, देन मेघालय में भी 3 है, देन त्रिपुरा में 1 है, देन मिजोरम में ये 3 है. तो ये वो जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट की बात की ना स्पेशल क्या कौन सी डिस्ट्रिक्ट प्लस को ऑटोनोमस डिस्ट्रिक्ट. हाँ, तो ये ऑटोनोमस डिस्ट्रिक्ट है और इसके रिगार्डिंग आर्टिकल्स यहाँ पर देखो 244 में देखो है, 244A में है, 339 में है. ठीक है, तो ये आर्टिकल्स है और ये एक्ट्स डिफरेंट एक्ट्स बने हैं तो उसके डिटेल्स यहाँ पर दिया गया है. चलिए हम बाद में अगर ज़रूरत पड़े तो उसके हिसाब से देखेंगे, अब इसको रीड आउट नहीं करते हैं. ओके, तो ये वाला चैप्टर कंप्लीट हुआ इसी के ऐसे. और हम नेक्स्ट पढ़ेंगे पंचायती राज. ठीक है, जो कि लोकल गवर्नेंस में पंचायती राज वाला चैप्टर एंड म्यूनिसिपैलिटीज. तो पंचायती राज है हमारा 38 चैप्टर एंड म्यूनिसिपैलिटीज है 39th चैप्टर. चलिए